I think my mic is muted. There we go. All right, let's do this one more time. Now the mic's not on mute. Hello, everyone. Welcome to eTech Facebook Live Fridays. I'm Tech Bob, and today we're going to review a couple of quick tech tips to avoid front camera issues during screen replacement. So before I get started, I'm going to explain that there's really two ways you can go here when you're doing the screen replacement. You can either move the front camera flex over from your old screen that you removed to the new screen, or you can get the screen that comes with the front camera pre-installed. Either way, issues can occur when you're doing the screen replacement because you think, oh, I'm replacing the screen, why would I have a front camera issue? Problem is that the front camera is attached to the screen, so if you don't do certain things right, you're going to have that issue. I'm going to speed through just taking apart some brackets. I started off with having the phone open. I know we covered this in previous videos, but always unplugging the battery first is another important thing, just making sure that we have no power going to the board, which will help prevent backlight issues. I've never seen it cause an issue with the camera, but there is an IC that the camera works with, so if the IC for some reason gets damaged due to a power change, surge, anything like that, it could be related to the battery. So battery is unplugged. I'm going to unplug my screen cables. And actually, so very first tip, when you open the phone, it's very easy to slide a tool, whatever you're using, too far. If you hit this cable, you can tear it, which would render that cable basically not usable. So you would have to replace the front camera flex. Second thing is the way this flex cable is. So I'm going to take the bracket off so everyone can see it a little better. It has a weird design to it where it kind of loops around and then plugs in where the cable feeds from the bottom side here. I'm sure everyone can see that. It feeds over here. So I'm going to take this bracket off real quick. So again, this part right here is important, the way the flex cable is plugged in. I'm going to show you what I mean by that exactly, but you can plug it in a different way, but it will not work. So this is the right way, it feeds in from the bottom. Now to avoid damage with this cable, use a spudger to disconnect it. Come in from the bottom side here and just a gentle twist will disconnect it. Super easy to unplug it. You don't want to dig in there because even if you don't damage the cable, you can hit components or the FPC here that the front camera flex plugs into, and that'll cause issues with your camera. That's a more severe issue because then you can keep replacing the front camera. Nothing's going to fix it since the issue is with the board now, not with the cable. So now that that cable is unplugged, I'm going to take this off. Now, I mentioned how it plugged in before, right? And this is going to be kind of weird to show because I've seen people plug it in like this. To me, it seems like you have to try a little harder to do this. But see like that right there? To me, as a tech that's done these repairs for years now, that looks very weird. But if you plug your front camera in like this, it will not work. Because the connector is symmetrical, it'll plug in both ways, but it will not work this way because the pins are not lined up to where they need to be. So do not plug the cable in this way. It will not work. So that's the first thing, making sure that the cable is plugged in the right way. Second thing is when you do plug it in, a tip that I have for you guys, so this is probably the standard trying to do this. That's a little more difficult to do since you're holding the screen on the side at an angle. If you hold the screen like this, which looks kind of weird because this is the orientation that you hold the screen when you're doing like an iPhone 6S or older. It's a lot easier to plug this cable in when you're holding the screen up like that. The cable lays down a little bit more just naturally in the frame, and then you rotate along this top right corner. That's your pivot axis, and then your cable's plugged in. So super easy there. I'm going to unplug that, and then the final thing I'm going to cover is when you're messing with this front camera cable, it is adhered to the screen, so I'll take that off real quick just so you can see it. But the point of this is going to be whenever you have a cable that's adhered, so whether it be liquid adhesive that was used or double-sided adhesive, that adhesive is going to resist you when you're pulling the part off. If you don't do anything to help with that resistance and you just rip the cable off, that's typically what's going to happen to the cable. It's going to rip. And if that happens, your front camera is not going to work. So I highly suggest to everyone, if you're not currently doing it, when you remove this front camera cable, use a heating pad. So something similar to this right here. You can see it in the camera. All you would need to do is drop the screen on there for not very long, a couple minutes. What that'll do is get the adhesive that's holding the camera flex down to the screen a little bit, I guess, more pliable. It'll help it release from the screen, so it's less pressure and force needed to pry the cable off. That'll prevent damage to the proximity sensor, the ambient light sensor, the microphone. I've seen these cables split in half over here where they're soldered. It's more common on the iPhone 8 Plus because of how they adhered it on there, but again, it's a common point for all models. So I would say all the way back to the 5 series, where that's where it started. The front camera was on the screen, up to even the newer series phones, the 11 series, 12 series, and the 13 series that just came out. It looks like there's still a cable on the screen. It's a front sensor cable, but the ear speaker is no longer, the top speaker is no longer there. It's now in the frame. So still stuff you can damage. Either way, use heat. It'll help prevent that damage. And on these, the iPhone 8 and older, you can use a screen with the front camera installed because they're not tied to the board or anything like that. On the 10 and newer, technically the cable you're transferring is not the front camera, it's the front sensor. It has your ambient light sensor, proximity sensor, microphone, I believe one other sensor on there, and your speaker, your loudspeaker. So if you damage that transferring it over, it's a little bit more of an issue because now you lose Face ID. So again, same principle applies to those models. Make sure you're using heat to prevent the damage, and just treat that cable like it's the most important cable in the phone, because aside from the board, it is. That and the front camera side's on the board side. If you damage any of those parts, Face ID is gone, or you have a non-fully functional phone. And then as far as just overall camera issues go, if you do run into an issue where your camera is not working, either after you use the same part, moving it over from the old screen to the new one, or use a new full assembly that came with it pre-installed, best troubleshooting tips I can advise you to do: if you're running into an issue, try another part. So try another front camera if you have it, or another screen, or try that part another phone if you have that. So either scenario there, that the outcome of that will tell you what the cause is. So if you try another front camera on that same phone, it does the exact same thing, it's very likely that it's not the front camera at this point. It's something that was done to the board. If the new front camera does fix it, then that confirms, okay, either the one that you were dealing with before was damaged or it's defective, and that'll tell you which way you need to go as far as resolution. But that's all I had for the tips today. Again, just to help avoid those front camera related issues. Testing is always going to be your best friend. Before you fully install any part, plug it in and make sure it works, so you don't have to go and undo everything just to find out that the part was bad or that you damaged something. I covered that in an earlier stream. I think it was just on testing parts. But again, just bringing up that tip again, because even though I've brought it up before, it's a good one to always remember. But that's all I have for today's stream. Thanks everyone for watching. If anyone has any questions related to this stream in particular, let us know in the comments. If anyone has any suggestions or wants to see things in future streams, let us know. We're always looking for new ideas of what you want to see. This content is fun for us to make because us as having you all as our customers, we want to get that knowledge out there. We want to get it spread to everyone. So it may be something you didn't even think about, and it could open your eyes to another side of repair. So again, anything you guys want to see, let us know in the comments. If you haven't already, be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel and follow us on Facebook. That way you'll get these notifications as we bring them up. Cool thing about these live streams, what we're doing is whenever they are done, the video is saved to Facebook, but we're also uploading it to YouTube. So it's on our YouTube stream as well, our YouTube channel, and then we're linking it on our website. So there wasn't really a product in particular covered here today. All these are just general small tools, but for example, if I cover something on like the laser, we'll link that video to the product on the website. So when you go and look at the laser, you'll see the video, you'll see a picture of the laser, and then you'll see a video, so you can watch it there too. But that's all I have for today, guys. Thanks everyone, have a great weekend, and we'll see everyone on next Friday's stream.